Hello, my name is Gretchen Caldwell, and welcome to this webinar on professional development relating to physical education and adapted physical education. This presentation is meant to fulfill a requirement for Westchester University's KIN 586. To start off this presentation, I have a YouTube clip as a parody of teacher development. Make sure your volume is up, sit back, and enjoy.
So, you think you can do it all yourself, the habit of an ineffective educator. If you'll excuse me, I have got to go backstage and address these interruptions to my program by Mr. Gump. Excuse me. Woods!
Run, Woods, run! Run, Woods, run!
Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Learning Channel's Wide World of Teaching, where we broadcast a teaching event live as it's happening. I'm your host, Marv Roberts, along with me, color analyst Gail Gardenia. Gail, what can you tell us about today's contestants as they prepare their classrooms?
Well, Marv, they're as different as night and day. On the left, Mildred Pincham, traditional, closed-off, set in her ways, and she thinks Rush Limbaugh is the sexiest man alive.
On the right, Maverick, Harold Maverick, visionary, open, curious, lifelong learner, and just to keep life spicy, puts jalapenos in his prune juice.
Woo! That would do it for me.
There's the bell, and here come the students. Hey, what's Harold doing?
He's having the kids tell him something they learned in class yesterday as the password to enter his classroom today.
A great way to check responsiveness.
And the students are handing him journals. Harold really knows how to collect homework without being demanding.
But look at Mildred.
Oh, she's greeting her kids like a third base coach waving in a runner from second.
Harold is preparing his class with a segment from an educational laserdisc while Mildred takes attendance. And this is important, Gail, because the school secretary's been known to shut down the entire school if that list is not on her desk first thing in the morning.
Mildred's using the patented Pincham death stare to buckle their knees right into their chairs.
Now she's occupying them with a mind-numbing reading assignment while she speeds through the halls to deliver the attendance sheet herself. Oh, there's got to be a better way.
There is, Marvin. Harold's doing it. He's booted up his desktop and is emailing the info directly to the secretary's computer. By networking with local business people, Harold got the hardware to thrust his classroom into the 21st century.
Well, how's Mildred with the computer?
Are you kidding? If she tiptoed onto the information superhighway, she'd be roadkill before the first exit.
Yes! Her motto is no TV, no CD, no PC. It might make learning too easy.
Now Mildred is lunging into a turgid lecture on the Boston Tea Party.
Instead of lecturing, Harold is setting up teams of New England colonists and British governors for a role-playing, problem-solving exercise. Hands are popping up all over the room.
His students work well together, Marvin, and enjoy this kind of collaborative learning. The room is abuzz.
Well, there's a buzz coming from Mildred's room as well.
It's called snoring, Marv. It's what happens when half the class is asleep.
There's the bell ending the first round. We're through the preliminaries, and now it's off to the faculty lounge to judge break time productivity.
Harold's got his finger on the pulse of this lounge, Marv. Exchanging ideas, sharing information. Now he's meeting with his peer coach for some friendly feedback.
Where's Mildred?
In her regular corner, Marv, with her regular coffee, her regular cigarette, and her regular bear claw from Dunkin' Donuts. If she speaks at all, it's to complain about students.
All right, it's back to the classrooms now for the dreaded parent-teacher conference. For this competition, we've assembled two sets of parents who both think their child is best, blurt out insults without thinking, and are on medication for uncontrollable mood swings.
Look at Harold. He's doing exceptionally well, Marv. He's calmly listening to the parents' complaints and asking for evidence.
What patience, what ease. He's a regular Buddha out there.
Oh my gosh, Marv, look at Mildred. Her set of parents just said one wrong word to her and she belted them with two left hooks on the right cross.
And they are down. They are down, and she's taunting them like Muhammad Ali over Sonny Liston.
Unbelievable. Let's look at the replay.
All right, we're queuing that up.
Oh, yes. Oh, look at that form.
Now, I know this was a little goofy for a portrayal of a teacher development, but there's actually a lot of good points they make throughout this video. The strongest point being that to be a teacher, you need to constantly evolve and grow to keep your students engaged. And not end up belting parents like Muhammad Ali. So what is professional development? The dictionary defines professional development as the process of obtaining the skills, qualifications, and experience that allow you to make progress in your career. For some, professional development involves individual engagement. Teachers assess their own needs and seek the appropriate activities. For others, professional development means school administrators assess the needs of the staff and require attendance to organized sessions. A third approach involves administrators administering a needs assessment tool, then organizing staff development for the entire faculty based on the findings of the survey. For policymakers in Washington, the term professional development is Section 9101 of the No Child Left Behind legislation. As with other aspects of No Child Left Behind reform, the legislation establishes exhaustive criteria to define professional development for Title I districts who receive Title II funding for professional development programs. To continue a little more with No Child Left Behind, we focus on professional development activities that involve both administrators and teachers, move teachers to highly qualified status, improve student achievement on standardized tests. No Child Left Behind requires professional development activities to be evaluated to determine the impact on increased teacher effectiveness and improve student academic achievement. Specifically, the legislation defines highly qualified professional development activities as those that are developed through the extensive participation of teachers, principals, parents, and administrators of schools, with the goal being to improve and increase teachers' knowledge of the academic subjects they teach. Again, looking more in depth at highly qualified regulations. Highly qualified regulations should enable teachers to become highly qualified. These activities must simultaneously give teachers, principals, and administrators the knowledge, the skills necessary to provide students with the opportunity to meet challenging state learning standards. Additional regulations require that professional development activities are an integral part of broad school-wide and district-wide educational improvement plans, include instruction in ways that teachers, principals, pupils, service personnel, and school administrators may work more effectively with parents, improve classroom management skills, include instruction in the use of data and assessments to inform and instruct classroom practice. Continuing on, provide instruction in methods of teaching children with special needs, are high quality, sustained, intensive, and classroom focused in order to have a positive and lasting impact on classroom instruction and the teacher's performance in the classroom, and are not one-day or short-term workshops or conferences. Support the recruiting, hiring, and training of highly qualified teachers, including teachers who become highly qualified through state and local alternative routes to certification. Now I'm going to discuss professional development I have gone through where I work. I would say 98% of my trainings over the past 4 years have been directly related to learning-focused schools. In addition to learning-focused schools, we had some more learning-focused schools training. Usually the presenter comes in and talks to us about how to write better lesson plans, and a little bit more about lesson plans. So some essential questions, student learning maps, activating strategies, teaching strategies, formative and summative assessments, and summarizing strategies. all the while never actually using these strategies in their own presentations. This may seem harsh, and it is, but the lack of opportunity given within one subject area is kind of repulsive. Speaking with peers in other districts, and in my own district, this seems to be somewhat of a trend. I appreciate having opportunities to receive professional development. However, my experience over the past 4 years has been very repetitive. This year, the only training we've had that was not LFS related was called ALICE, Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. This was a particular sad training and unfortunate reality we now have to face. Here's the link on the training. As you can see, it's a website discussing the different regulations, videos, how to become trained, and different presentations given through ALICE. So it's something you can explore. Maybe your school has looked at it. It was informative, but again, it wasn't directly related to education, but several unfortunate incidents have caused this type of training, I guess, to become necessary. In addition, we spent one other day watching 3.5 hours of the Act 126 video, which covers child abuse, another unfortunate circumstance that we're now facing in the public sector. Reflecting back on the bullet points, it seems as if we're only covering a handful of the recommendations that highly qualified recommends. So how do we improve the quality of the material we're using to educate our students? We can learn everything about writing lesson plans, but if our content is weak or bland, we're letting our students down. And particularly with health, on our certificate, we're health and PE certified. Health is ever changing, so you have to stay up with the material. Otherwise, you're misinforming students or maybe giving them bad educational tips of advice. So how do we improve the quality of our content? I believe intrinsic motivation is the answer. Intrinsic motivation is motivation based on taking pleasure in an activity, rather working towards an external reward. We all got into this profession for a reason. Hopefully that reason is that we truly love health and physical education and are motivated to grow, learn, and thrive as a professional in this career. With districts facing budget cuts and having greater plans on in-service days, it really is up to the educator to go out and expand their knowledge. I'm disappointed that a lot of professionals lack the drive and motivation to grow and expand their ways of thinking. Sometimes I wonder if maybe not being aware of opportunities is the root of some professionals not pursuing additional development. So I'm going to provide several organizations and cheaper alternatives to traveling to national conventions to help improve upon yours and your colleagues' professional development. So let's look at a few PE-specific ways to develop our knowledge. AFERD offers a wide array of standards-based professional development services geared to empower physical education teachers and promote lifelong learning. On NASP's website, I was able to find quite a few resources for professional development that are very accessible to all PE teachers. The first of 4 is e-learning. Keep up to date with current trends in physical education by participating in their 1-hour webinars. Here on NASP's website, you can scroll down and see some of their webinars available and their e-learning sessions. Next is Physical Best. In-service and certification workshops provide physical education teachers with the skills necessary to implement this comprehensive health-related fitness education program. This link takes you to AFER's website, where there's an overview of Physical Best workshops and some different tips and goals they have listed, applications, different certifications. Definitely a website you should check out in your own time and explore. Next we have Pipeline. This is an expansive family of in-service workshops that offer solutions to specific components of a quality physical education program. Again, this is on AFER's website. Overview, workshop descriptions, a lot of question and answers, ways to contact AFER about these different workshops. There's also information on how to host workshops in your area. And finally, we have ProLink. ProLink is tailored to fit your group's needs. ProLink consultants develop specialized training solutions, including curriculum reviews, advocacy presentations, and accreditation preparation for coaching, education, or sport management programs. So this is NASB's website. Again, the overview, consultant, a little more tips about ProLink. So all four of these links are provided in your PowerPoint presentation. Definitely worth checking out and exploring, see what you can learn. For time's sake, I'm not going to explore them that much, but you do know this resource is available. Next, we move on to conventions. I personally find these to be one of the best ways to get the creative juices flowing. These are stimulating, a great way to network, and learning new and creative things to put in one's lessons. I've attached links to the National AFER website, Pennsylvania AFER, so PS AFER, and even the District AFER website. Going to these sites and using them as resources is a great way to grow as a professional in our field. A lot of times, these websites will also give notice if there are specific conventions, such as adapted PE conventions, like the one Westchester had this past summer. So AFER, again, this is your main website for AFER. You can look at professional development here, webinars, workshops, conferences, and conventions. So these are now all at your fingertips to hunt and research and play with, see what you can find. This link is to PS AFER. So if you're not from Pennsylvania, you can hunt for your own website. However, if you are a Pennsylvania teacher, this is your valuable resource for state conventions, which are pretty cost effective and move back and forth between Western and Eastern Pennsylvania every year. This year's 2013's was in Eastern Pennsylvania, so the 2014 convention will be held in Seven Springs in Western Pennsylvania. And finally, we have the district conventions. Again, Pennsylvania is part of the Eastern District, but you can click here, again, if you're not from this area, and see exactly where you lie. So click where your state is. So if you live in Oregon, you can pan over here and see you're in the Northwest District. If you're in Texas, you can scroll down here and see that you're in the Southern District states. Okay, so that's just a nice tool. If you're not from there, you can click and see what's going on in your specific district. Next, we look at coursework. Again, we're encouraged as teachers to pursue additional coursework. If you start teaching your to then pursue a master's degree. You may start with a master's degree, so then you look at certificate programs or PhD programs. So I've listed some of the Master of Education programs, maybe specifically to health, physical education, health and physical education, adapted physical education, sport management. Obviously, we're all enrolled in Westchester's adapted PE certificate program. But you may also pursue PhD programs, and if you're looking in the field of adapted, there aren't a whole lot of schools that offer PhD programs in adapted, but there are quite a few available that have very, very nice programs and are worth looking into. So coursework is another way we can grow as professionals. Obviously, everyone, like I said, viewing this is currently enrolled in a certificate program. But sometimes time and money deter us from pursuing some of this coursework. So I've taken the time to show you big conventions, webinars, and presentations, in addition to coursework one can take. I personally have found quite a bit of value in all of these types of professional development. The combination of what the school provides me, in addition to what I'm going out and pursuing, combines to be a nice, well-rounded fit and helps me improve my classes. Using a variety of methods of professional development stimulates one's way of thinking and helps breed new ideas. To become stale and just go through the routine is everything opposite of what a teacher should be, let alone a physical educator. Unfortunately, like I said, time and money, family, health, and life gets in the way of going to a convention that's one weekend during the year, or paying upfront for a graduate class that is out of the question with kids, a mortgage, a car payment, student loans, and every day-to-day living expenses. So what can you do? I've come up with a few other ways to help a physical educator stimulate the right brain that is cost-effective and might fit one's schedule better. On this slide, I have focused on lifelong fitness concepts targeting aerobic and strength training programs. Now, as you can see, there's a link to a worksheet that I will also email just so that I make sure you get the attachment. I'd like you to fill out this worksheet, and you're going to be focusing on all of the following that I would consider lifelong fitness activities. Zumba, it's very big. High school students love it. They go to the gym, they talk about it, they always want to do it. It's a great course to enroll in and take a look at. There's also kickboxing, WSI, Les Mills, body pump, body flow, yoga, and USA weightlifting. Again, these are all different from the standard football in the fall, basketball in the winter, and baseball in the spring. These give your students a variety of activities they can experience in class, so when they leave high school, they have now experienced a variety of activities, and maybe they pursue something they really enjoy as opposed to the everyday mundane PE class that unfortunately too many students still experience. So my challenge to you is to print the worksheet and look up all of these different methods of lifelong fitness and see if there are any training classes in your area. So look up where they are, when they're held, and the cost of the session. And I hope that maybe some of this intrigues you and interests you, and you can pursue it. I'm not saying you'll be an expert in the area, but it might give you a different perspective on stuff you can teach within your classrooms. Another thing we can do is look at local gyms, clubs, and studios. We're quote-unquote teachers and educators. We're clearly more knowledgeable than coaches. Well, maybe in some areas, but we could learn a lot from sports-specific conferences and coaching courses. Maybe not enough to make one feel comfortable starting to coach a sport from scratch, but maybe enough to increase comfort level teaching basic skills in the classroom. So I've added a link for 4 organizations and coaching classes that are offered. USA Track and Field. Great link. They have some fantastic coaching sessions and conferences that you would be able to look at and work on. USA Tennis, again, more coaching certificates. They walk you through the very basics up until the college level athlete. USA Soccer, USA Lacrosse, both the exact same thing. So make sure you check out some of these. Check out your local gym. Take a class, find a dance studio, join a club, and become familiar with a sport that you don't understand. Lacrosse is something I had never pursued, but joining up with a club and playing around with them, I picked up a few skills that then I brought into the classroom. And fortunately, I had a few students in class that played lacrosse on club teams, and they were always looking to increase the level of lacrosse that we were playing. Occasionally you have to remind these kids, this is PE, this isn't a competitive sport that we're playing for a world championship. However, if you have a strong knowledge base, something other than you've just read in a book or experienced in the class, they're going to respect you a lot more as an educator. So, adapted physical education. The more comfortable you are with your material, and the more weapons or resources you have in your arsenal to use, the easier it will be to adapt your classes. Combining skills you have learned in a dance class, at a track conference, or visiting the Eastern District Convention will become second nature, and you'll come up with quicker solutions when a student is struggling with a skill. A lot of times, adapted PE classes are full of a wide range of abilities, so you need to do things that you have not experienced in general physical education. One of my favorite examples was a lesson a friend of mine taught when I was pursuing my master's degree at IUP. His lesson was on dance, but depending on the age group, touching hands and being close to the opposite gender is icky or uncomfortable. But he proceeded to have us line up in groups and move across the gym while acting out different sports. If he gave us baseball as a cue, we had to hit, catch, steal, pitch, dive for a ball, etc. So no matter our ability level, everyone could participate. So that the child in the wheelchair, or the child in crutches, or the child that has high physical ability levels could all participate in their own way. In addition, he would change the height of how we were performing the skill. Low to the ground, regular, or very tall. Finally, he would change the speed at which we would do skills. So we'd go really slow, and then we'd go really fast, and we'd be very high, and we'd be very low. The benefit of this lesson is that all students can be involved and work at their own pace. You can pull from multiple resources and skills to help all of the students in your class have success. You might even tell them that they're on the moon, so you're touching some cross-curricular concepts. All of the conference information, webinars, and etc. also apply to adapted PE. However, you may want to consider specific conferences related to adapted physical education. As I mentioned earlier, Westchester University held an Eastern District Association Conference of AFERD this past summer that had plenty of great resources for educators. I know Slippery Rock University has done the same thing in the past, so just being aware and using those websites I provided previously will give you quite a few different experiences and methods to increase your professional development. Also, becoming more comfortable working with individuals with disabilities is a huge challenge. If you've only had one class in college where you may or may not have actually worked one-on-one with a client, your comfort level will be the biggest obstacle. Comfort comes with time and practice. Special Olympics is a great way to start becoming involved. In addition, there's a camp run by the PA Lions for individuals with visual impairments. The camp is at Beacon Lodge, and I've included the link because it's just a fantastic opportunity for participants, but also for volunteers. If you feel your area that you're struggling in is becoming more comfortable, volunteering at somewhere like Beacon Lodge would be a great experience for you. So this is the website for the PA Lions Beacon Lodge camp. As you can see, there's the homepage, camper registration, staff information, camp activities, and even some really great photos. Definitely somewhere to visit if you have the opportunity, but at least check out the website and see all of the wonderful things they are doing at this camp. This camp does target individuals with visual impairments, and like I said, you may even contact one of your local Lions members to see if you can become involved. Again, this is a Pennsylvania organization for those of you who reside in Pennsylvania. So why push for professional development and adaptive physical education? What is the benefit to me? What about teachers set in their ways? How about the lack of understanding and the misconceptions related to adaptive physical education? A benefit, you'll be a better teacher. Your students will be more engaged, and the quality of your classes will impress your administration. If you're set in your ways, you're making poor educational decisions, and you will not be successful in the classroom. In addition, becoming set in your ways can cause conflict with your other department members. The lack of understanding. While going through undergraduate work, most future PE teachers only experience one class on adapted physical education. This small taste of adapted PE is only a tiny bit of the pie when it comes to adapted physical education. Not understanding the ins and outs and experiencing more than that one class in undergrad will deter someone and make them uncomfortable when teaching adapted physical education. And finally, some of the misconceptions related to adapted physical education. Some of these misconceptions PE teachers have are mainly from images they've seen in movies and maybe an outburst in the hallway. It's not 24/7 the outburst. Sometimes people have bad days, and unfortunately, some of us have different ways of expressing it. So understanding this and being able to move past it is a great way to be a better adapted physical educator. Growing as a professional in adapted PE can help improve you in all of these areas and frankly make life easier. Having a better understanding of the population you are working with will make teaching much less complicated. My final thoughts. The book we were asked to pick up as a supplement has some great debate discussions in there. A lot of them have to do with professional development and how you are pursuing your career and improving your career and how you are improving the lives of the students you are working with. The section I found most helpful when preparing this presentation, I would like everyone to take a look at. It is Part 3, Teaching and Physical Education. So Chapter 7, Rethinking Teacher Knowledge in Physical Education. What do physical education teachers need to know? Also Chapter 8, Why do physical education teachers adopt a particular way of teaching? And finally, Chapter 9, Are physical education teachers reflective practitioners? I think this section of the book, Part 3, directly relates to this presentation. I would encourage you to read these 3 chapters, give the debates a serious look, reflect on your own life, and maybe those are some of the questions you'll ask me for our Skype session. So So taking the time out of your busy schedule to make sure you're staying on top of your teaching game is very important. Once or twice a year, becoming involved with some type of development other than what your school provides will keep you stimulated and prevent you from becoming bored with your profession. In addition, it will allow you to be a better adapted physical educator. Your confidence in the classroom will be stronger, and your students will grow as physically educated children. Thanks for listening, and remember to post your questions to our class website. Thanks, and have a lovely day.